PPC Work Week. We're excited to have you here. My name is Callie and I'm here to get things started, get things out of the way. We're going to start with some logistics. I'm going to send out an email following today's presentation with the recording and all the slides so that you can review them, contact our speakers, or share with a colleague should you wish. We'll also have time for Q&A at the end of the webinar, so definitely submit your questions in your GoToWebinar chat box or question box, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. And if we don't get to yours, we'll definitely follow up with you following the webinar. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with WordStream, we're a search marketing software provider with both free and paid tools to help you easily grow your AdWords and Bing accounts. So if you're looking to master PPC, paid search, definitely check out our PPC University at www.wordstream.com/learn. Now, we definitely encourage everyone to be conversational on Twitter, so definitely join in and hashtag PPC20. You can also follow at WordStream, and you can follow one of our speakers at Tim Warner, at twarner83. Today's experts are Tim Warner, our Director of Sales. He has 8 years of PPC experience, certified AdWords professional, and has recently been certified in one leadership program.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you.
Then we have Ben, our Director of Product Management here at WordStream. He's responsible for our call tracking product. He has 8 years of experience in product development, and more than 4 of those have been in PPC product.
Hey everyone.
So for today's agenda, we're going to talk about shocking yet common problems that we see in PPC accounts. We are going to discuss 5 guidelines for achieving success in Google AdWords. Then we'll get into how you can improve your PPC performance in just 20 minutes per week. And don't forget to send us our questions because we'll have that time for Q&A at the end. Now, before I hand it over to Tim and Ben, I definitely want to take a minute to get to know you guys a little bit better so we can speak more to you. So we have our first poll question today, which is how much time do you spend doing PPC work every week? We have, I'm supposed to do work in my PPC account every week, less than 1 hour per week, 1 to 10 hours per week, 10 to 39, or 40 plus hours as it's your full-time job. Now guys, what do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to say 1 to 10 hours per week.
1 to 10.
I would go either less than 1 or 1 to 10 would be my guess.
All right. Well, looks like we have
Results are in.
a winner. And we have 1 to 10 hours per week with about 40%. Then we have 26%, which are less than 1 hour. And, you know, the rest are pretty equal amongst you're supposed to do work, 40 plus hours, and 10 to 39. So we have a good group of people with us today.
Awesome, awesome. I hope we can help out everybody that's on the webinar.
Now, for our next poll question, we have what's your biggest time suck in your PPC management? Is it bid management, reporting and analysis? Is it ad text authoring, keyword research, negative keyword, or landing page optimization? If you guys want to cast your vote. What did you guys find hardest when you were first learning PPC?
I always found keyword research, negative keyword research.
Keyword, all right.
Keyword research, huh? I think something that goes overlooked is reporting and analysis, personally.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
What do you think? Time's up?
I think time's up, and the results are in. And it looks like Ben won this one with keyword research and negative keyword being one of the biggest time sucks with almost 40%, and then 33 with reporting and analysis.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're going to take over for you, Callie. We're gonna ask some questions too, but we actually will give you guys the answers for these questions. So Ben, if you want to kick it off with the first trivia question.
Sure. All right. So the first trivia question that we wanted to ask is, what % on average do you think a small business wastes each month on their AdWords spend? 5%, 15%, 25%, 50%, or more than 75% of their AdWords spend? And the actual answer is 25%. So the average small business actually wastes a quarter of their AdWords spend each month, which is a surprising number.
I actually thought that would have been higher, to be honest with you. But okay, cool. Trivia question number 2: how often do small businesses spending underneath 5K do work in their AdWords account? And the answers we have are every day, 2 times per week, 3 times per week, or once a month. Ben, what do you think?
I would go maybe 2 times per week.
All right.
Let's see.
You're wrong. Sorry. It's actually 50% of SMBs, and I would actually bring this all the way up to enterprise level clients too. Don't even check their AdWords account once per month, and 25% haven't done anything in their account in the last 90 days. Now that's concerning, and we obviously understand that there's a lot of pressure that goes into this. It's a very time-sensitive thing, and it's you need some data to understand what you're doing too. So how did we get this data? And Kelly, if you want to go to the next slide. One more. Well, hopefully everybody on this call has run this AdWords Performance Grader. It's front and center on our website, and it's really designed to give you more insight into how you're performing within Google AdWords, and it breaks it down into 10 key, very, very important search metrics that you need to see how you're comparing against your competitors. Now, we're going to get into how much money are you wasting? What is your quality score? Are you tracking conversions? What is your impression share? All these unbelievably important things that hopefully you can look at that and understand how this is affecting not just your AdWords account, but your overall business too. And so if you haven't been able to run this report yet, please at the end of this call do it, because it's going to help you improve your businesses and improve your AdWords account.
Yeah, and just on that point, the AdWords Grader allows us to get some real great insights into the secrets of PPC success and kind of identify some of the key mistakes that so many people are making, and most people think, oh gosh, am I the only one? It turns out they're in the vast majority. So don't worry if you're not spending as optimally as you could be, or you haven't logged into your account in a while, because you're in good company. The harsh reality is that most of the AdWords accounts we see are a total train wreck, and hopefully you'll learn a few things today that can help you turn it around.
Train wreck, huh?
Yeah. Harsh word.
Yeah, we've seen many things when it comes to Google AdWords, and one thing we do know is that most of the accounts that we look at are not where they could be. So there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people that we speak with when it comes to managing their account. But we try to break this down into five things that we've found out that we know to be true when it comes to Google AdWords and how you can get more out of Google AdWords. And number one, and we understand where you are, right? Number one is PPC is very, very hard. If you saw the introduction to the slideshow, I have about 9 years of PPC experience. Ben has pretty close to that himself, working with small business owners. We've been around the game for a long time. We're not sitting here saying, hey, we know everything and nobody else knows nothing. We get it. But you still don't think. But with the right tools, the right education, working with the right company, reading the right resources, you can make it a lot easier on yourself. And that's not just doing better within Google AdWords and producing more revenue and more leads and more conversions. It's actually saving a lot of time too. So now you can actually go back and focus on your business.
And that leads us into the kind of the next point, which is, we work with a ton of small businesses, and we know the vast majority of them don't have any time. There's no one in their company dedicated to marketing or advertising, and we get it. That's why we spend a ton of our time trying to figure out what are the changes that you can make that will have the biggest impact to account performance in the smallest amount of time possible. And the truth is that with a little bit of work, you can see real big results. So the idea is you don't have to spend 10, 15, 20 hours a week doing this. There are some small changes that you can make every week, and as long as you're consistent, you can see real change.
Well, I don't even think you need 10, 12, 15 hours a month to get real results out of Google AdWords, but you need something. And right now, 50% of people aren't doing anything. And I hope it's not you guys on this call, and I'm guessing you're on this call to educate yourself more. And so hopefully we can show you how to do that. Number 3, you have to keep your PPC house clean. What we mean by that is people tend to let keywords ride. Right? You say, okay, this keyword looks great for my business, but hey, I don't have any insight into that keyword. Maybe my click-through rate's not very good, but hey, it explains my business, right? This is what people must be searching for. Well, how do you know how many phone calls you're generating from that keyword? How do you know how many conversions you're generating from that keyword? You don't. And I think the metric was that 50% of people aren't even tracking conversions.
Yeah.
Right, so we have 50% of people who aren't doing anything in their AdWords account. 50% of people aren't doing conversions or aren't even logging into your AdWords account, right? I mean, I don't know, right? So you need to keep up with this type of information. You need to pause, fill, fix, or even kill bad keywords. If you don't have insight into those keywords, hopefully what we're going to show you is going to be able to give you that insight. And I think we have a poll question for everybody.
All right, so a little foreshadowing into kind of what we're going to talk about next. But for everyone out there, how often do you all set goals within your AdWords account? Is it something that you do daily, weekly, monthly, or have you never set any AdWords performance goals for yourself?
Be honest.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people out there who either haven't set goals or they haven't set them in a while.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more monthly, but again, be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what type of goals am I actually setting? Those could be AdWords goals, they could be revenue goals, they could be workflow goals. Think that a little bit deeper.
All right.
What do we got, Kelly?
We got about 44% monthly, followed up by 37% never, and then 17 weekly, and some superstars out there with daily.
Wow, that's pretty good. Well, hey, let's roll into number 4 because I think you guys are going to like this.
So not
shocking.
Yeah, totally shocking. It's not surprising. It's important to have goals. If you have goals, you can decide whether or not you're happy with the way your account is performing, and you can know what to look at when you make changes within your account performance. And the important thing with goals, and Tim, I hear you say this all the time, it's important to start small. Mm-hmm. If you've never done this before, it's easy to say, this week I'm going to go in and add 5 negatives, or if your metric is cost per conversion. So you want to lower it by 5% and start making strides toward that goal. Once you reach it, you can always readjust.
Yeah, I always suggest starting small, meaning, hey, maybe this week my goal is to add 5 negative keywords. That's a great place to start. Negatives are gonna make a difference from day one, but also it's going to get you on that track of setting these goals. Maybe next week my goal is to rewrite 2 of my most underperforming ad copies that are in my account. And it's a snowball effect. And every week what happens is you start setting all these different goals, and then we look back at the end of the month and you're not one of those 50%ers anymore, right? You're logging in, you're taking action. You're improving not just your account, but you're improving your output as well. Number 5, and this is probably the most important thing. 50% of SMBs aren't tracking conversions. 75% aren't tracking telephone calls. I wish we had another poll question here, Kelly, because I'd love to see everybody on this call where they're at. But this is difficult, and it's difficult to do. You have to understand where to put the tracking conversion tracking code. You have to understand a lot of different scripts and coding and things that normal people like me and you probably don't know how to do. Ben knows how to do that, but I don't. This has to get done. This is probably the most important thing you guys can take away from this call is you need to understand where my money is being spent, what I'm getting in return for that, but also what is actually producing that revenue. Down to the keyword, you have to know that, because if you don't, you're flying blind. You don't want to fly blind when it comes to Google AdWords. Probably one of the worst things in the world you want to do is fly blind. So Ben's gonna hit on just a couple things that can actually help people understand a little bit more about conversion tracking and call tracking, and then we'll get into how you guys can start managing your account in 20 minutes a week.
So as Tim mentioned, 50% of the people out there aren't tracking conversions at all, and then for the 50% that are, it's often set up something like this, where people know that they're spending money when someone clicks on their ad and they go to their website, and they basically compare that to the value they get when someone makes an online purchase or fills out a form. But what you don't see is this other half of the equation, which Tim hit upon, which is the phone calls. What about the people who see your phone number in an ad or on your website, pick up the phone and call you? Are you aware of where those phone calls are coming from and how to tie them back to your AdWords account? And if you're not, then you're really kind of measuring and optimizing based on only half the picture. And you know, the gist of it is a lot of leads come in the form of phone calls. You know, you think about service industry. You know, my example that I always go to internally is the bail bondsman. Right? If you're in the field of a bail bondsman, you're probably not filling out a web form. You're probably going to pick up the phone and call the guy. Emergency service leads and high-end product sales, you see call more for pricing or call for further info. And the short of it is, if you have a phone number on your website and you're driving traffic from paid search to that website and you're not tracking the calls you get, you're really only measuring half the picture.
So Ben, I actually want to stop you there. So the stat that I heard is that 85% of people who advertise in Google AdWords are attempting to drive telephone calls.
Yeah, and the other thing is that for those who do receive phone calls, I think it was Forrester recently did a survey, and they said that they value phone leads more than any other lead form.
Okay. So I'll give everybody on the call a story. So I'm the director of sales here. I have, you know, there's 32 reps that work in our department. People call WordStream. People call WordStream to want to talk to us. People call us to ask us if we can help with their AdWords account. People call us to say, can you help me get more sales, more revenue, more phone calls, more leads out of my Google AdWords account? When that person calls in, there's no more valuable lead than us as a marketing department, and Callie's in marketing. There's no more valuable lead that we can receive. Why is that? It's because this person is interested. This person wants to speak with you. This person read some of your content, and they want to have a discussion around how we can help them. It's incredibly important to know what is driving that interest so Callie and the marketing department can continue to drive more of those. That's what we're trying to help people with. That's what we're trying to preach here, I think, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that leads nicely into, you know, when you start to do those things, you can take action within your account. And you know, the kind of common example that's used is bid optimization, right? Oh, you know, I know this keyword is driving phone calls, so I can change the bids, or I know this keyword's not. But there's a ton of other stuff. It's kind of just the tip of the iceberg. You can find keywords and negatives based on search queries that are converting or not driving phone calls, and identify high-value long-tail keywords, or see which ads are truly performing the best, not just those that are driving web form fills, because you don't know what's making your phone.
Right.
So to talk kind of a little bit about you know, something that we have kind of fairly recently at WordStream is you know, we're offering a feature that allows you to track qualified leads. So the idea is a small business can go in and say, I want to track you know, phone calls that are over a certain length, 30 seconds in call length, count them as conversions, and we'll track all the calls that come into a business over a given day, and then every 24 hours we'll push the calls that meet their specified criteria back to AdWords.
So we're getting a little producty.
Yeah. Sorry,
right? I mean, we're digging into the weeds with this stuff. So essentially what you're trying to say, Ben, is we've been able to identify what what keywords produce telephone calls, and we're able to push that back into Google AdWords.
Yeah. Yep. That's the short.
So now you can actually see what keywords drive telephone calls.
Yeah, and actually you can actually see it right there in AdWords. If you go to the next slide, when you log into your AdWords account, you'll see the calls that were collected through WordStream and pushed right back to your AdWords account, along with all the other conversions that you may be tracking.
Okay, I hate looking at the screen, but it is what it is. Awesome. So for everybody who's on this call, and sorry, I know we're going to jump right into 20-minute work week in 1 second. If you're not doing this, if you don't know how to do it, give us a call. I mean, you guys all have my information at this point. You know how to get in contact with us. This is probably the most important thing that you're going to have to do when it comes to doing Google AdWords. Why wouldn't you want to optimize towards revenue instead of optimizing towards data? Is essentially what I'm trying to get across here. So if you guys have any questions, we have a Q&A session at the end, and also you have all my contact information. But how to improve your account, your PPC performance in only 20 minutes a week. So we ran the stats earlier. We know the numbers that 50% aren't doing anything in your AdWords account every single month, 25% over 90 days. It's hard. It's very difficult to read data. I get it. I'm not a data person myself. I know Ben's a data person when it comes to building our product and mapping out our product. But for me, I'm in sales. Yep. And so for me, I need to see something rather than the data. Someone needs to show me how to do certain things. And that's really where we see a good connection with people coming through our AdWords Performance Kit, or just people saying, hey, I know what to do within Google AdWords. I just don't know how to do it. I know I need to add negative keywords. I just don't know how to do it. I know I need to change my worst performing ad. How do I find that, and how do I optimize it, and how do I measure that? That's what we're trying to help people with here, where we're trying to help people understand what is wasting money within your account, and then how to reallocate that. So remember the stat from earlier that 25% of your Google AdWords account is not producing anything. I think the stat is, and I forget the person who said the quote, but it was over 100 years ago. I understand that 50% of my marketing dollars are working for me. I just don't know which 50%. We've cracked the code there too. We understand what's working, what's not working within your AdWords account, and that's how we're helping our clients. So we're giving you automated and actionable alerts. You don't have to do that digging. You don't have to figure it out. Hours upon hours of analysis done for you, and you can do this in 20 minutes a week. So Callie, if you want to go to the next page, what we've been able to accomplish is say, this is what you need to do. Okay, and we know this to be true, right? We know because we've seen $30 billion from our AdWords Performance Grader come through and get graded. Okay, we've seen everything from people who are spending millions of dollars a month all the way down to people who spend, okay, maybe $25, $50 a month. We've seen people all the way in the hotel industry and government agencies all the way down to, you know, my parents who own a pizza shop, right, who have an AdWords account. We've seen that account come through. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to help people and say, if you do these 5 things every single week inside your Google AdWords account, you're ahead of more than 50% of the competition. By adding negative keywords, I can find where I'm wasting money in my account, get that back into my account, and use that to drive telephone calls, to drive conversions. Adding keywords into my account. These are keywords we're currently not bidding on, but we're getting clicks and impressions for that look extremely relevant. If you have call tracking, which we can help you with, you can see what keywords are actually generating calls and I'm currently not bidding on. Think of the power behind that. So now I can actually generate more of these calls. Adding negative keywords, going back to the other tab, I can see where keywords that aren't relevant for me, that aren't driving me telephone calls, I can get rid of these, right? It doesn't make sense to keep bidding and bidding and bidding. This comes back to the pause, kill, or fix quote that I had earlier. If you're not doing any work there, you're going to continue to come up short against your competition. Optimizing my text ads. Again, if we're not changing ads, if we're not A/B testing, if we're not seeing what's working, what's not working, why are we doing this? I mean, if we're just putting money out there and hoping that people find and click on my ads, nothing's going to work. We want to find these ads for you. Optimizing my bids. Again, coming down to being able to track calls and conversions. Why wouldn't you want to put more money on a keyword that is driving me a really good telephone call versus a keyword that isn't producing anything and is just spending my money? To me, that is better. I mean, maybe you can shed some light here, but to me, that is just the most mind-blowing thing that I've ever seen when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that, you know, generally when people make these decisions, they're all looking at the same thing, right? They're looking at how much did I spend on a given keyword and how many clicks did I get for it. But then the question is, what came next? What came after the click, right? Think about an emergency plumbing service, right? How many form fills are you going to see for someone who's trying to contact their emergency plumber?
I have no idea.
You're probably not going to see any.
Yeah,
because people are just picking up their phone and they're going to call, right? Yeah. But if you're looking to try and figure out whether or not you should bid more on that and you have no conversions associated with it, well what's the odd? You have no idea, right? It goes back to that whole flying blind thing. So this is where kind of tracking your success and making sure that you know every way in which people can get in touch with your business and every way you consider to be a conversion is all there for you to act on. It's incredibly important.
Okay. So if you guys want to manage your account in 20 minutes a week, without the help of the software, right, number one, PPC is hard. Utilizing a third-party software platform, it can be done. It's going to be extremely difficult to do. Our clients manage their accounts in 20 minutes per week. They're able to take advantage of all this technology and all this insight and all this great things about their account and bring that back in, right, and utilize that information. We can see right in the screenshot here the estimated annual impact. By just using our tool there, this person is able to achieve 34,000 more clicks, which is good. Everybody likes clicks, right? But more importantly, they were able to reinvest $186,000 back into their account. Now, obviously, this is a very big account. It's you know, upstream for us, but that's the power of this stuff, guys. I mean, and whether you work with a company like mine or not, by doing these actions and trying to do this on your own, this is how you beat the competition. This is how you increase the amount of conversions and telephone calls and site form fills than what you're getting right now by taking these actions. Hey, you know what? I hope everyone, we're going to continue here, but I hope you guys are taking notes and understanding exactly how this is going to help you. And hopefully everybody can learn things from this webinar. That's really our goal, to make sure that everyone's educated on how to manage their account 20 minutes a week, but also how to get more out of what their budget is now and how more out of their time of what they're doing right now. Kelly, if you want to go on to the next slide. Yeah, and again, one of the last alerts we have here is review costly keywords. And again, don't waste money. Don't dump money back into Google. Figure out what keywords are wasting my budget. Pause, fix, kill.
And so really what we're kind of hammering home here is that if you don't know how you're performing, you can't make changes to your account to improve that performance. So we spoke about it earlier. Not everybody gets phone calls, but the vast majority of people value their phone ringing, and it's something that we offer. It allows you to kind of get a holistic view of how your account's performing. And then and it feeds right back into your AdWords account where you may be tracking other conversions. So you get this kind of full funnel picture, right? You know what your budget is. You already know how many impressions and clicks you're getting, but it's that kind of bottom part of the funnel.
So Ben, that looks boring and like it takes a lot of work. What is this?
I mean, essentially what we're showing you here is, for how much you spent, how much did you get?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what you care about as a small business. Is if I spent $500 or $1,000 in AdWords, how many calls did I get? How many people contacted me? How much business did I get?
Okay, I get another idea for a poll if we ever do this webinar again.
Okay.
How many people are actually doing reporting? How many people understand exactly what I'm receiving back from AdWords for the money that I'm putting into it? I'd love to know that stat because I think it's actually really low. And we're getting, we talk to thousands upon thousands. My team of consultants talk to thousands upon thousands of people every single month. I'm sure a lot of people on this webinar have actually talked to some of my consultants. Majority of people don't know exactly what they're getting. And we try to help people with that. We try to help them make them understand. Because if you understand that, if you understand the gap in your business, the gap in your workflow, now you can understand what do I need to do in order to close that gap, right? Where am I now? Where do I want to go? Why do I need to get there? What's going to happen when I do get there? Or if I don't get there, when do I actually want to get there? So if you can understand those 5 things about yourself, congratulations. That's amazing. That's fantastic. And you should be able to do awesome things when it comes to Google AdWords. Most people don't. Most people don't know that. They don't know what to do when it comes to Google AdWords. They don't know what to fix in their account. They don't know what's going wrong. They don't know how to improve that. So that was a lot, guys. I think we went through like 32 or maybe like 40 slides, and it was really fast. And we're really sorry if we went too fast for you. But hopefully everyone was able to take at least one thing away from that webinar. To summarize everything that we went over is that most people we talk to, most Google AdWords advertisers, have accounts that just aren't where they should be. They're a train wreck, and that's Ben's word. That's not my word. He's the one who came up with that, but it's 100% true. And if you ask our founder, Larry Ken, he would say the exact same thing.
And then, review the 5 habits of successful PPC marketers. I mean, kind of highlighting on a bunch of them. Set your goals. Make sure that you're measuring success. And little changes go a long way. So you don't need a ton of time to make big impact.
Cool. I hope everyone got my passion about the importance of optimizing telephone calls. I've been doing this for a long time, and Ben and I actually came from the same company before we got here, and just knowing, how many calls am I generating? That's so important. But I think the real key, the real takeaway is, how do I get keyword level tracking? Meaning, how do I see what keyword, what ad text generate a call, and then how do I get more of those? If you don't know how to do it yet, I suggest looking into how to do that.
Yeah. And kind of going back to this, if you think of your PPC management as as a weekly reoccurring task, and as Tim said, you're dedicated to it and you just put in a little time each week, you'll be amazed at how quickly you see improvement. And by doing it, you'll already be ahead of 50% of your competition.
Yep. And then lastly, what our advisor allows people to do is manage their account in 20 minutes a week. And hey, take a shot at doing this in 20 minutes a week yourself with those 6 actions that I showed you how to do. Right? Do the analysis, do the optimization, and see what the results yield. Warning, it's going to be very difficult to do that in 20 minutes a week, but our customers are able to do that, okay? And really the impact is you're going to be able to reallocate all of that wasted spend in your account to generate more leads. You're going to see what telephone calls, or actually what keywords are producing telephone calls, what keywords aren't producing telephone calls. How can I get more of those telephone calls? Because I think every business that's on this webinar, and there could be a few of you guys that aren't looking for telephone calls, but I think majority of us are. And it doesn't matter if you're an advertiser or an agency. Everybody wants to grow their business, and PPC is a fantastic way on how to do that. I hope everyone was able to take stuff from this webinar and apply it to their own situation.
Great, thanks guys. So before we conclude the webinar and get right to Q&A, I want to offer you some special offers for today. The first is learn how to track and increase your call volume. So Tim and Ben definitely just touched on how important calls are. So you can sit down and with one of Tim's consultants, and they can walk you through how you can do that. Or you can have a personalized one-on-one AdWords assessment, again with one of Tim's consultants. They're all AdWords certified, so you'll definitely have everything you need to know from them. And then finally, if you don't need any help at this time, you definitely feel free to select that as well. Now,
cool, let's get to some questions. I'm fired up.
All right, let's do that. So the first question is, can WordStream manage my whole account, or like if they don't have time to consistently work on their campaigns, can WordStream do it for them?
Yeah, awesome question. So we do have a full dedicated team here that manages accounts for our clients, and it's a great service. We yield great results. I can give you all of our retention rates and average client lifetime and all that sort of good stuff, but you're more than welcome to call or send a quick email, and we can walk you through how we can help you. We try to set expectations right from the start, and hopefully you can give us your goals and expectations, and we actually bring in our PPC management team to look at the account and figure out, hey, is this something that we can help you out with? More times than not, yeah, it is something we can help people out with.
Great. Next up, can you use WordStream for YouTube video ads via AdWords?
I don't believe that is something that we offer just yet. I believe it's something that's actually in progress right now, but not a feature that we currently offer.
So we're coming.
Yeah.
We got there,
We'll get there,
but today, no, we can't help too much with YouTube.
All right. So when you're talking about goals, which you guys focus on a lot, can you define goals? If you have a conversion tracker, but they're not really sure of how to set the goals, so what's the best way to do that?
Feel free to jump in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing that we always say is to start small. So, the first step is if you're tracking conversions, you're already ahead of the game. And then it's really about just trying to improve, your cost per conversion marginally kind of over time. So, if your cost per conversion today is $100, try and improve it by 10%. See if you can get down to $90. And as long as you have your metric, a lot of the things that Tim mentioned in terms of adding negative keywords and reducing spend on those keywords that end up costing you a lot and only driving a few conversions are all steps towards getting there.
Yeah, good question, and it's so important to have those goals, and it's so important to start small and build from there. I think a 10% reduce in CPA it's an aggressive goal, but yeah, for sure it's definitely something that everyone needs to have.
All right. Now we have some questions on call tracking, so
Okay.
they might go straight to Ben.
Okay.
But, Tim, I'm sure you can incorporate your thoughts too. So if we already have call tracking tracked into a CRM, can you use the same numbers to track it into WordStream?
So unfortunately not. Right now we have kind of an exclusive vendor that we're working with, and we need the numbers to come through them in order for our whole magic to work. The nice part about using the software is when you sign up for WordStream, I think 70% of our customers get it all for free. So if you're paying for a call tracking solution now, it may be worth exploring what you can get with WordStream for no cost.
Yeah, we'll absolutely, we 100% transparent. So if you are interested in taking a look, which you want to see what else is out there, we totally understand. We'll tell you exactly how much it would cost you.
All right, another one on call tracking. So how do you know if someone calls from an AdWords ad when their phone number is on every single page of their website?
It's a bunch of details, and I don't know how much detail to go into. We offer kind of two call tracking solutions that we encourage our customers to set up. One is we give them a unique call tracking number for their AdWords ads, and then we give our customers a pool of numbers that we use on their website. So there's a little piece of code that goes on the website, and then every time someone clicks through an ad and goes to the website, we'll pull one of the numbers out of their dedicated pool and show it on the website, and we know then that number is dedicated to that particular keyword that drove the search. An important note there is that it is the customer's dedicated pool, so it's not like those numbers are shared with anybody else. If someone calls back a month later or a year later, as long as they're still a WordStream customer, it still goes through the business.
Yep. And maybe I think something we can clarify too is when they come through AdWords, it dynamically changes on their ad tag.
Yes.
Excuse me, on their landing page.
On their landing page, yes.
Right. If they came through organically or just moving through their website, that call tracking telephone number would not appear.
Right. Yeah. The goal is to take credit for the essentially the calls you're paying for through paid search. So we'll only track those.
So it's techie, but it's a pretty easy concept once you're able to understand exactly what goes into it.
Great. Now, we have some questions about the 20-minute work week, Tim. So some people are a little skeptical. Does this really only take 20 minutes? Can you kind of paint a clearer picture on what they'll get in the 20 minutes?
Yeah. If you guys sign up for a free trial today and you go through the 20-minute work week, it's not going to take you 20 minutes. It's going to take you a little bit longer than that. Once you're adjusted to it and once you learn the system, which we train everybody on how to do it to become ninjas with the WordStream software, it's a really simple process. And yeah, literally every single week you should be logging in. It should take you 20 to 30 minutes a week to manage your account. If you don't have 20 minutes a week to manage your account, you should not be doing Google AdWords, or you should be outsourcing that account to somebody else. It is critically important to not just your AdWords success, but your business success to get in there and do some work.
Great. Another question on goals. So are goals something you literally set inside AdWords, or is it a soft metric you set outside of the system?
It can be both. It can absolutely be both. I mean, you can have conversion metric goals within Google AdWords, and then you can have a workflow goal. And maybe my goal this week is to go in and change an ad text, add a keyword, and whatever, add a new keyword into my account. Who knows? Or yeah, it could be hard goals, and I'm sure those 2% of people on this call who say they have daily goals within their Google AdWords account, they have these hard goals, right? They could be through analytics, or they can be right in Google AdWords itself. Those tend to be more of the power users when it comes to Google AdWords, and I commend you because it's fantastic to have daily goals, and that's something our managed service team here would have for their clients too, daily goals.
Cool. We've gotten a couple questions about Bing and how that works into our software. So can you talk a little bit about what we offer between Google and Bing?
Yeah, we support both, man, and the reason we do it is because when we were building it, our customers asked us to build it first. The reason they asked us to build it is because overwhelmingly they said, listen, I set up my AdWords account really similar to the way my Bing account is set up. If I take an action in AdWords, I'm more than likely going to take an action in Bing, whether it's an ad text or a negative or whatever. So what we did is when we built our tools, we said, well, let's make it easy on you, right? Let's give you one portal, go in and make changes in my AdWords account, and I can also make those changes in Bing too. So instead of doubling your time managing AdWords and Bing, you can actually do both at once, which is pretty powerful.
Great. Now we have a question about mobile versus desktop and how you can is there a way to optimize for mobile versus desktop experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so one thing is there are a couple of options right there within AdWords. So when you set up a campaign or an ad group, you can choose to optimize for a mobile or a desktop experience. And then there are various ad types that you can show depending on what you're targeting. So the short answer is yes. It is something that WordStream offers.
Yeah, the WordStream software would make your life so much easier if that's a pain for you.
Great. All right, Ben, I think this one might go to you because it's back to call tracking. So once you see keywords that generated a call, how do they get pushed back into AdWords manually?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's actually not something they have to do manually. It's something that happens automatically. So what we'll do is every 24 hours we'll take a look at all the calls that came through a given business, and we'll say, if that business said, I want to treat calls that are over a minute long as conversions, we'll take that subset of calls. And Google offers this offline conversion metric, which, again, not to get too techy, but
okay.
The idea is there's a unique ID on every click, and we can take those clicks that translated to phone calls and push them back into AdWords so you can see which clicks, keywords, match type, campaign, ad group, all of the good stuff that you're looking for right in AdWords with respect to conversions. And then, the 20-minute work week that Tim's talking about, it looks obviously at conversions as a key metric to know what's working for you and what's not. And it'll look at those call conversions along with any other conversions you're tracking.
Great. Tim, this one's probably for you. It's a little bit about long tail keywords, and it's pretty general, but what's the best way? Like, how can you find them?
Sure. If you know what a search query report is, start there. You probably don't know what a search query report is. It's very difficult to find. It's almost impossible to find. Essentially what you want to do is you want to see every single search query, which is different than a keyword, right? A keyword is something that you're bidding on. It's something that you said to Google, hey, that looks like a good keyword for my business. Here's a few cents, or here's a few dollars, and your insurance, here's $100, right, for that click. The best way to find the words that you should be bidding on that are relevant to you is seeing what keywords or what search queries are generating for these keywords, meaning what are the keywords that we're currently not bidding on but we're receiving impressions and clicks for. Something that a lot of people don't know, that you are receiving clicks and impressions for keywords that we're currently not even bidding on. Google's matching us through broad phrase or modified broad match, and if you're not logging in, which 50% of you are not, it's going to run amok. Okay, and this is where this waste comes into play. It can be your best friend or it can be your enemy, is finding these search queries. You have to do this work. These are words that people searched on and Google said, hey, you're relevant for this, I'm going to show you, and you got a click or impression for. If you're not doing the work on those keywords or on those search queries, forget about it. I don't know how you're going to succeed with Google AdWords. They make it incredibly hard to find and incredibly hard to actually optimize on. We take a different approach, as you can probably see in the tone of my voice. We want you to see this information. You need to see that information. You need to analyze and optimize that information. We do the analysis for you. All you need to do is just click yes or no. That's how simple it is. But that's where you're going to find these words, and we can help you with that if you're interested.
Great. Now, in terms of quality score, what should the minimum quality score be for any keyword before they judge whether or not to remove it?
Something I've heard from, and I'm going to throw him under the bus, but something I've heard from our director of managed service, our team that manages accounts, is anything less than a 3 is probably not very good for you. Meaning it needs to get paused, and in a lot of cases it probably needs to get killed. It needs to get thrown out. I would do that on the Google AdWords Performance Grader. I would want a little bit more insight into exactly what is happening with my account. If you're in an incredibly competitive industry with extremely high click-through rates, there might be more problems than just this quality score issue.
Yeah, it could be an account structure issue.
Yeah.
Maybe driving everybody to your home page.
We see this all the time. Ben, that's an unbelievable point that you just made. We see this all the time. If you have more than 10 keywords in an ad group, probably not that relevant, and that is 100% affecting your quality score. Now, I didn't want to get down the quality score path because we're talking about driving telephone calls, but that's okay. Quality score is going to help me get a better page positioning, lower cost per click, a lower cost per acquisition. That's the power behind quality score. If you don't know what is happening with quality score within your account, please give us a call or write us an email or tweet at me or do something. because our consultants are trained here. I mean, this is something that we've lived and died by for the last 5 or 6 years. It's this quality score thing. The power behind it is unbelievable. But now with our telephone call tracking, we've taken it even a step further. But quality score is where it starts, right? I mean, the quality score is relevancy. Quality score is telling Google that, hey, I am giving a person searching a direct link to exactly what they're looking for. If you don't know how to do that, you should run the grader or talk to one of the consultants.
Great. Now, Tim, I know you mentioned a little bit about how WordStream can work for both advertisers and agencies, but can you kind of go into a little bit more detail about how the tool works for agencies when they're managing multiple clients and accounts?
Yeah, it's awesome. Actually, I think stats like 40% of our clients are agencies. These are people who I'm sure we actually have some agencies on the phone, or people who have worked with agencies, and it gives you a much easier workflow, as you saw from just that 20-minute work week. Now, the 20-minute work week is literally the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we offer here, but that's the driver of a lot of people, right? They want to see that. For agencies, you're going to cut down hours upon hours of PPC analysis and optimization, and you can manage all of your clients in one central portal to log in, and then have individual accounts for each one of those clients, and have 20-minute work weeks set up for each one of those clients.
Great. Now, for an advertiser who's maybe just starting off, or a little bit more, has been doing this for a few months, what are the major challenges of doing this manually without a software such as WordStream?
Well, if you've been doing it for a few months, I hope that you found some of those challenges instead of just letting it run. Is the first tip. Sorry about that. We had a connection issue. Hopefully, you're not just letting it run, but absolutely check that performance grader, okay? Because it's going to give you an update on your click-through rate. It's going to give you an update on your quality score. It's going to show you what's affecting your impression share. Is it my bids, or is it my ad rank? What is happening with mobile? All these unbelievably important questions that I just don't know about yet about your accounts. I can't really give you a specific answer, but that grader is going to start you off in the right direction. And if we're not scoring very high on that grader for each one of those individual areas, then that should give me something I need to work towards. And we have so much content here and so much information, like doing these free webinars or writing all these blog posts and white papers. Educate yourself a little bit. I'd say that's step number one, Ben, is just making sure that, hey, maybe I'm a little bit more educated than where I am right now.
Yeah, and going back to some of the other things, I think when you're first starting out, it's around making sure that you're set up to track success and making sure that you know what your goals are and what success is to you.
Perfect. I mean, if you're just starting out, this is the perfect time to come in and say, well, I'm going to track phone calls and I'm going to track form fills, or if you're e-commerce, I'm going to track purchases on my website. So now I don't have to guess. I don't have to guesstimate what am I receiving. I know. Now I can optimize towards dollars rather than optimizing towards data.
Awesome.
We do one more. Let's do one more, Callie.
All right.
One more for me?
I'll get you one more.
All right.
So does WordStream run for every campaign in your AdWords account, or is it limited to certain campaigns?
Nope. It runs for everything inside your AdWords account. So if you have an AdWords account, I just link it up to the free trial, see how much money you're wasting, see if you can get some new ideas. And I think the AdWords Performance Grader will run for you anyways during the trial, and you can see exactly what's happening with your account, how to fix it.
Yeah, and one thing that's nice about the tool is that it will prioritize the changes that will have the biggest impact on your account and keep it down to 20 minutes. So it'll look through the whole account, but it will kind of bubble up the ones that will make the biggest change.
Yeah, that's a challenge to everybody on this call. See if you can actually go through that 20-minute work week and see how long it takes you. And tweet at me. I want to know. I want to know how long it's going to take you. I'd say your first run is going to be 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe I'll give you 30 or 40 minutes this time. But let me know, because I'm interested in hearing back from everybody on this call.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, I think we've run out of time, but I want to thank Tim and Ben for joining me today and giving you guys a great insight into what WordStream has to offer. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be following up later on today via email with the links to both the slide deck and the recording. So if you missed something or want to go back and review something, definitely look out for that. The email will also have both Tim and Ben's information should you have any follow-up questions that maybe we didn't get to, or just that pop up later on that you want to discuss with them. And also, it will definitely provide you with the information if you want to run the Google AdWords grader that we have that Tim's been mentioning, or sign up for that free trial that will definitely get you started to reach PPC success. So I want to thank you guys again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
Yeah, thanks.